Very
Hmm.
nice. Welcome to 5 at 5. And look, today we have a packed house. Gargi's joined us in the studio in Kolkata. She worked till 4 a.m. in the night yesterday, 5 a.m. in the morning rather, and sloshed. She had no idea what was happening. She was standing and about to sleep. And these two in New York have been working non-stop as well. Great coverage. Great coverage from the entire team. Shopnil at the back end actually left at 4 a.m. in the morning. So the kind of commitment that we have seen from our team, if Pakistan had half that commitment, Babar Azam's team would have won that match. That's the truth. Ishan Shane and Devashish Sen both joining us from New York. This is great fun. This is real fun to watch. Gargi, why don't you take over because you're hosting the
Yeah.
show? I mean, generally I keep talking right through, but you've got your guests there as well. So why don't I pass it on to you and I'll answer for a change?
I'm asking the questions today. But I'll start with you, Ishan and Devashish, since you're there, since you witnessed the match firsthand. You are a part of history. And, talking about yesterday's hero, Jasprit Bumrah, the kind of brilliance that he put on, the kind of show that he put on, I want to ask a simple and straight question. Is he the best bowler that India has ever produced?
Hmm.
Ishan?
I think yes, Gagi. If you have to ask me that, I think I'll go with yes because this is someone who can win you matches from nowhere. So yesterday, Pakistan were cruising. They needed a runner ball. They were extremely comfortable. And I was in the stands. My first Pakistan India match. All the Pakistanis are dancing, enjoying, having a good time. Trying to nag us, trying to push us a bit, and all the Indian fans are just sitting quietly and just waiting for something to happen. And we were waiting for Bumrah. Bumrah came in, got those wickets, and changed the course. So it takes a very special player, in my opinion, to come in and change the game so drastically. Gage. You're defending a small total. You need something extraordinary, and that's what he has. So in my opinion, definitely, and he's. The another reason why I'll tell you he's probably the best bowler is because he's doing it for a long period of time. That consistency that we talk about is so very important, and that's what he does on a regular basis. How often have we seen Bumrah fail? Not that often. We mostly see him perform and do well for India, and that's why the expectations for him are so high because we don't expect him to fail at all. So that just shows that what a top class bowler he is and how important he is to this Indian side. Everyone talks about Virat Kohli as the superstar. No doubt he is the superstar. But in my opinion, I'll put Bumrah right up there with Virat Kohli. But no one talks about Bumrah as much as they talk about Virat Kohli. So yes, Gagi, to answer your question, definitely. In my opinion, he is the best bowler India has ever produced, and I think he's only going to get better and better. He's got a great cricketing mind as well. And in the press conference yesterday, he also mentioned, just to keep a calm composure and how to think the batsman out. That's more important. On that wicket, how do I bowl lengths which will trouble, Rizwan, which will trouble Fakhr Zaman, which will trouble any other batter. And that's what he did. And that's what got those wickets. And after those wickets, it was game over. So yes, Gargi, definitely.
Devashish, it seems like a lot of people heading into this match had the belief that Jasprit Bumrah doesn't perform in ICC tournaments, but history proves otherwise. And of course, yesterday's match, he proved every critique of his wrong. What are your thoughts? Is he the best India has ever produced?
The best part of Bumrah is his calmness. Means and he is one bowler who does not think too much. Means obviously he doesn't do not go out and try too many things. He keeps it very simple, and that's what you want if you have to be successful. Means take the instance for yesterday's match. Obviously, that any teams, if you ask me, would panic. Means obviously to defend 119. But as Bumrah did mention in the post match press conferences, that the talk in the huddle was not to panic. Means obviously at times you would try differently, you would try something extra and may go hayward, but that was not the case. He tried to be simple, and there's a bit of calmness about Jasprit Bumrah, and that is what has done wonders for him. Means obviously, you could actually see he always thinks about overdoing the batters. I mean, instead of and keeping it simple. And take the instance of the wicket that he got of Mohammad Rizwan to bring India back into the match, because Pakistan were cruising at that time and it looked like they had the match in their grip. But that delivery from Bumrah, it just rattled the Pakistanis. So this is all about Bumrah. I mean, and he has been doing it not only for in one. It is doing it across the formats and over the years. and easily he is one of the best bowler in contemporary cricket at the moment. And take the instance of two of the legends of the game, Pakistani cricketers Wasim Akram and Walker Yunus, during the commentary did say that it was Bumrah's second spell that was the turning point, and that's a big comment from the two greats, Gargi.
Yes, Trisha Ghoshal, our colleague, has joined us in the comments, and she's saying, "Jussi jaisa koi
Yes.
nahi, ye to kaha hi hai." But also she's saying, also by the way, I had called the Rizwan wicket.
She
I
did.
remember this.
Yes.
The moment Jasprit Bumrah came, she said that ab iska wicket jayega, and that was very true.
She said it'll be a Yorker. It
Yeah.
wasn't a Yorker, but it was a fantastic delivery, and
And I think right in the next
that ball
delivery he
itself.
got.
Yes,
He got
Trisha
out.
Trisha got it absolutely spot on. Now, let's tweak roles. Let me ask Gargi and Devashish and Ishan a few questions. We were talking about Jasprit Bumrah, and there is already a debate that why did Rohit Sharma not start with Jasprit Bumrah? And on this show, we ask straight questions. We ask, you're defending 119, and we are, by the way, lauding Rohit Sharma's captaincy. We are talking about the fact that Rohit got it right with Akshar Patel by promoting Akshar Patel. We are talking about the fact that Rohit got it brilliantly right with Rishab Pant by promoting Rishab Pant at number 3. But should he have opened with Jasprit Bumrah in especially key matches like this? Why don't you go first before I go to Devashish and Ishan? But look at the contrast.
Yeah.
One fellow is wearing a t-shirt and not even feeling cold, and the other one is shivering despite wearing a. And it tells you one guy is sort of where starts with his dumbbells in the morning. Anyway, you go with Jasprit Bumrah.
No, I think it was a good decision. And it was a day that needed proactive decisions from Rohit Sharma, from the skipper. On days like these where you have a very low score to defend, you have to try new things. Of course, it's very high risk, but then you have to be 2 steps ahead of everyone else, because I'm sure the Pakistani openers must have come in with the thought that we're going to face Jasprit Bumrah, and obviously you prepare that way, right? But to throw them in deep water, get a different bowler, I think that throws you off a little bit. It throws you off mentally. And also, I think at one point they were saving. I think they were saving Jasprit Bumrah for later, because it was a very low score. And I think at one point after they got going, that's where you need wickets. That's where you need to break the partnerships. If Jasprit Bumrah had started the innings, maybe he wouldn't have gotten a wicket or two, because usually that's not when you go gung ho in the very beginning. So I think it was a good call from Rohit Sharma.
Interesting contrarian point of view, Devashish, where she actually says that you got into the mindset of the Pakistani batters by starting with Arshdeep and Siraj. Your thoughts, Devashish, before I go to Ishan?
Yeah, obviously, the idea was behind going in with Arshdeep was that there were two right-handers for Pakistan, and so with the incoming ball, he might have done a difference. But then, as Gargi said, I agree with Gargi, because for us preserving Bumrah for later stages, because he has been brilliant at date. And
Yeah.
also it was Bumrah who gave the first breakthrough, getting rid of Babar Azam, and then that crucial wicket of Mohammad Rizwan. So it was and Bumrah has been doing it time and time again when the chip when there is pressure, and remember, he is the spearhead of your bowling attack. So he is leading by example, means much like Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in batting. I would say Bumrah is the leader in this bowling group. So he is one guy who puts up his hand and take responsibility. And for India to do well in this World Cup, Bumrah will have a major role to play. And given the conditions, means when you look at the conditions yesterday, it was bright and sunny when Pakistan was batting, and conditions were a lot more favorable. But then, but Bumrah with his skill, with his special skill set, he just proved too hot to handle for the Pakistanis.
Ishan, same
Murad, in
question.
my opinion, I think it was an interesting decision. Obviously, something that the team has spoken about. But in my opinion, I think when you're chasing a smaller total, I would have preferred to see Bumrah opening up the bowling order, because this could have well and easily gone extremely wrong for all of us. If by any chance the Pakistanis got away, then all the questions would have been asked on Rohit Sharma yet again, that why didn't you start with your premium bowler? So I think everything worked out in the end for the Indian team. But I think In my opinion, I would still start off with Jasprit Bumrah, try and get those early inroads as soon as possible. He did that already in that match against Pakistan, but this could have gone wrong very, very soon because the Pakistanis weren't chasing 160 or 150, or they're chasing a total below 120. So even if they got a couple of overs where they let loose, the Indian teams probably would have been out of contention. So I'm
Okay,
happy that things worked out in the end. Yeah.
let me now throw the sort of cat among the pigeons. Gargi will go first. What about Shivam Dube? We've seen a lot of flack
Oh.
coming Shivam Dube's way. Do you persist with Shivam Dube? Do you drop Shivam Dube? So much talk. Jaiswal, Kohli at 3, get in Rinku, which is not possible because he's still in the team. Is Shivam Dube being unfairly criticized because he's not given enough opportunity? Is Shivam Dube a wrong inclusion? Is the IPL an index? Gargi, you go first before it's Ishan and Devashish. But be candid on this one.
Yes, I'll be very candid, and I'll go to the human side of cricket first. He's played what, 3 games in this World Cup, in this tournament.
2, as in
2,
you don't
yeah,
take a warm-up in that
game,
yeah.
of course. But expecting him to play a life-changing innings in 2 games is a bit unfair. He's also new to the side. You have to keep that in mind. You have to remember that he's not young as according to his age, but he's also very new to this setup, so it takes a little bit of time to get your nerves to hold your nerves and go out there and perform. This is a World Cup after all. But also, talking about IPL, I think there is a very stark difference when it comes to IPL and international cricket. Of course there is, but the Indian setup, judges cricketers from IPL, then picks them up. So I'm not. It's very hard to judge actually, because at one side you feel for him, you think he's very new. He must be so nervous, but on the other hand, you want him to perform, and you can't just say that, oh, he's. You don't just perform out of nowhere. IPL is also a good stage. Is You get a lot of international bowlers there to bat against as well. So Shivam Dube, I think it's really hard for me to judge right now.
Ishan, what's your position? Yes or no to Dube for the next game?
I think Shivam Dube deserves another chance, Boryada. He's someone who has the potential and skill. But having said that, I feel the time is running out as well, because obviously the IPL, like Gagi mentioned, is a great arena for you to show your skills, and it's a good testing ground. But when you're coming to the World Cup, when you're playing over here, when you're playing the likes of Harris Roth, Naseem Shah, it's a different ballgame altogether. When I was at the stands yesterday, I could see him that he wasn't at his comfortable best. His free-flowing best, the way he is in the IPL. There was a steep bouncer which he rose up to him, and he had to duck it, and he edged it and all of that. So he didn't seem as comfortable. And Shivam Dube definitely deserves another chance, but the questions will arise that is he an IPL caliber player, or can he actually go and win matches for India as well? So the clock is definitely ticking. It'll be interesting to see how he handles that pressure and how he decides to start performing in the world stage as well. Because obviously the IPL performances are great. He's been picked because of that. But you can only stay in the Indian side if you deliver for the Indian side as well, and not just for your franchise team. So it's going to be interesting, but definitely deserves another chance.
Devashish?
Yeah, I would also go with Shivam Dube. And the beauty about this team, Indian team, is that backing your players who you reckon that would deliver. Yes, the conditions are overly favorable for bowlers, and it's difficult for every batsman. And even the best of the batters have struggled in on these wickets here at Nassau County International Stadium. So we have to give it to Shivam Dube, and given the way he has been back during the training session, having observed him during the training session. Both Vikram Rathore and Rahul Dravid has been walking overtime with him. You saw it in in the optional practice session. It was only Shivam Dube and Sanju Samson who turned up, along with the likes of Rinku Singh and Shubman Gill. And Shivam Dube almost spent almost an hour walking with a few techniques. He was playing a lot of cross-batted shots, pull shots. I mean, see, you have to give it to the youngster. Means if you back someone, you need to back him for at least a couple more matches before he. Yes, there are options, and remember, it's a golden opportunity for Dube. You have 2 more matches in the likes of USA and Canada where he can come good, and that will do wonders wonders for him to his confidence. Yeah, I for one would love to see Dubey being given another chance. And the best part for playing Dubey is that he can roll his arms. He had been bowling in the nets regularly
Hmm.
along with Hardik Pandya. So that's the best part. You can actually get when if there's a day out for any of the prime bowlers, then you can actually throw him the ball to roll for a couple of overs, and as Rohit time and again says that the team needs to be flexible in the batting order. Means apart from this opening batters in himself and Rohit and Virat, the other batting unit is not flexible. Means the batting order is not flexible. So I think the team management will back Shivam Dubey to the hill, and let's hope for the best.
Very interesting, because clearly my panelists are all unanimous here. All unanimous that Shivam Dubey deserves one more chance. And that's something I actually thought that I've written this article for tomorrow morning for Rev Sports, and I will be in a minority, but that's not the case. I've actually advocated this. I said when originally he was selected, I thought it was a wrong call. I thought Rinku Singh should have been selected, but now that he has been selected, it's unfair on him if you drop him after two opportunities. You've got to go with him. You've got to back the man rather than being unfair on him. And this whole trolling yesterday in the middle of the game, India was rubbish. Everybody said, "Arey, this is horrible team." At the end of the match, Rohit Sharma could not do any wrong. This fickleness of the Indian cricket fan is utterly crazy. Let's also take a couple of comments. One, Devargo Chatterjee says he should get another chance, and then went on to say, who's this? This is Shornodi Bakchi. He says, bring the fire pack Jaiswal in the playing 11. Again, Devargo Chatterjee says selectors and management selected him because they considered him a deserving one. So they should stick to that from now and will play. I think West Indies against spin, middle overs, he will play well. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point that, when the conditions get better in the West Indies, Shivam Dubey will actually be a handful. Very interesting debate, this one. Can you continue or should you continue with Shivam Dubey? Let's move on to my next one. Again, I will start, this time I'll start with Devashish and go do it the other way around and keep commenting, because we'll take all your comments. We'll take all your comments. And Trisha Ghoshal, Jassi Jassi Koi Nahi, and the other one claiming credit is all good, but why? Where are your other comments? You have not asked a question. You only said, I called it. Yes, you did call. And we are giving you the credit for that. So, but you did not call the full thing. You did not say it was a yorker. That is also a fact. You actually said it would be a yorker, and it did not turn out to be one. Anyway, but you did call. Uh, let's talk about Rohit Sharma's captaincy. I mean, that's again something that we must talk about at some length, because Rohit Sharma, after that Mumbai Indians issue, when he went there, not in great batting form. People were talking about the fact that will he get runs? Is he a good captain? Devashish Sen, Aksar Patel at number 4 turned out to be a masterstroke. Rishab Pant at number 3 turning out to be an absolute masterstroke, protecting the ICC from that whole pitch debate. Is it a good surface or a bad surface? Rohit Sharma is proving a point as a skipper and as a statesman of the game. You go first before I get Ishan and Naveen.
Absolutely, Muriyada. I mean, he has been a true statesman of the game, and obviously, as we have been talking on this platform time and again. Means had he said any comment against the wicket, then things would have gone haywire. Means obviously there would have been widespread criticism, but that was not the case. And what was interesting on that pre-match press conference where he said that we were rather willing to take blows and move on rather than complaining about the wickets, the surface, the conditions, and the moves that he has made. Means he always highlight that we need to be flexible when it comes to this format. Means and we need to think out of the box, and that's the beauty of this format. Let's, for instance, sending in Akshar Patel at number 4, or sticking with Rishabh Pant at number 3. Yes, he did mention that we had someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal in the team, but we had to go with Rishabh Pant because we consider him having an all-round ability. And Rishabh Pant, see the way he has performed in this World Cup. Means that 53 against Bangladesh in the warm-up game, following it up with a great knock against Ireland. And if you count yesterday's 42 of 31, that was gold. That was worth gold. You take out that 42 from that score, means things would have been very, very difficult for the Indian team. So the best thing about a good captain, means as has been the case with Saurav Ganguly or a Dhoni, if you back someone, you need to back him to the hill, and that has what transpired in this Indian team. You can see the youngsters in the side; they are confident, they are enjoying the responsibility, the added responsibility. There is a role clarity. Means every time you talk about successful teams, there has to be a role clarity in the members of the side, and that has what has been happening in this World Cup. Means everyone is relishing the role they have been given him, and they are willing to take whatever responsibility they have been put in. They have been put to, and Rohit always emphasizes this, that you need to throw them, and you need to challenge yourselves. You need to challenge
Okay.
yourselves to excel.
There's a question from sports fan. Dubé's confidence is low, otherwise he would not have dropped that catch. He looks vulnerable against pace. Teams will exploit it. Yes, his confidence did seem low because he's not scoring. And because he did not score, the ball went in, went out. And that's where you've got to back him. By dropping him now, you're actually finishing a career.
Yeah.
Because you don't get him back. Because you drop him in the middle of the tournament, it's done deal. Against a USA and against a Canada, you give him an opportunity, and then maybe in the West Indies. I mean, at least a couple of games. If he is bowling in the nets, Devashish said, very important update. Bowling in the nets, consistently bowling in the nets, that's something that gives us an extra option. Let me go to, Mumbai Cricket Association
let's
President.
this first.
This is a comment. I don't know whether this is true or not. Mumbai Cricket Association President dead in the US. Devashish, you might just have to sort of,
Yeah, I just,
Yeah,
yeah, we might have to do a follow up. I don't know where he is, but then that has been,
It is true.
Yeah.
Amol,
yeah.
Amol Kale
Oh,
passed away.
he watched the
just
match
last
live
year,
live from the stadium.
yeah, Amol was on our platform last year. This is no age to die. If this is what has happened, it's a very, very tragic news. And on it, you brought it to our notice. Devashish and Ishan will do more on it. But Amol was on our platform during the opening of the Sachin Tendulkar statue last year, and we did an interview with him. Ishan was there in that interview. This is horrible news. Our condolences to the family. Our thoughts and prayers with the family as well. But we'll figure out more details and give you more details. There's another question. What was the question? Yes, this is the one. Is it necessary to play Jadeja when we have Aksar? Jadeja has been a flop, especially with the bat. Ishan, take that. Take that with the Rohit Sharma point. That Rohit Sharma's captaincy, and do you see Aksar Jadeja both being relevant? Or do you see Kuldeep coming in when it's the West Indies and batting conditions are better?
Okay, to answer the Rohit Sharma point, yes, I think the captaincy has been just amazing, Bora. I think he's managed his team really well. And when you're coming into a World Cup, the key is to hold your team together and manage it really well. Even against Pakistan yesterday, defending a smaller total, those tactical decisions of bowling who at the right time really paid off, whether it was Bumrah, whether it was Akshar Patel. Those middle overs added the pressure, which really put the brakes on the Pakistani team. And like Devashish also mentioned, it's a team sport and everybody has their own role to play. I think Rohit Sharma has made it very clear to each and every player that this is your role, this is what you got to do, and this is how we're going to win. So, in my opinion, he's kept the situation very simple and he's leading from the front like he did in that 50 over World Cup as well. Over there, he led the bat. Over here as well, he's gotten that 50 and now he's showing his skills as a captain. So, I think this is good news for Indian cricket. Rohit Sharma, if he starts performing even more consistently with the bat now, it's only going to get better and better. But talking about his cricketing brain, just fantastic, I think. I think we've already seen that he's won 5 IPL trophies. Obviously, you had a good side to help you win those trophies. But overall, I think his captaincy and his tactical decisions have also made that, have made the majority of the difference in that victory as well. Talking about if we should play Jadeja or not, I think Jadeja is a player that you can't really keep out of any T20 side. Like we understand his form might not be the best, but he's again someone who can bowl you those 4 overs, who can get down with those 4 overs really quickly, get you those 2 wickets, and also play some match-winning knocks. So keeping him out of any T20 side will be really difficult. But at the same time, a lot of fans are asking about Kuldeep Yadav. They should play Kuldeep Yadav. And again, I think in those turning wickets in the Caribbean, you might see Kuldeep Yadav coming in, but I still feel he might come in place of Akshar Patel and not Jadeja, because it's just an opinion that I feel. It's a gut feeling that I have. But of course, if the forms don't live up to expectations until then we might see him in place of Jadeja. But I just don't feel that they might keep Jadeja out.
Yeah,
Okay. So Devashish Sen, if we now move track, and I will go to Gargi on this. Gargi, time up for Babar Azam. Devashish, he did not come to the press conference yesterday either, right? He did not come.
It was Gary
And
Kirsten, right?
both the press conferences, even the pre-match press conference and the post-match press conference, and Pakistani media are just after him. And
I
given
mean,
given the way you lose a match and first against USA and now against India, I mean you cannot chase 119 on this wicket. What from whatever may be challenging as what 80 for three and you lose the match. And then Pakistani media are after him, and we might not be surprised if he loses his captaincy again. And
Yeah,
so
that was my
that will be
question.
interesting.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you. In fact, I'll ask our viewers this question. People who are watching, people who are commenting on Twitter and other places on Facebook to me, tell me, do you think Babar Azam should give up on captaincy immediately? Do you think Babar Azam should give up on captaincy? There is a comment which I will take. But before that, Gargi, what is your personal take? Should Babar Azam stay on? Should Pakistan sack him?
before I start with that, I'd like to ask everyone who's watching to please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us boost the channel as well. But talking about Babar Azam, I think when you don't have the guts to face the media, I think that's your cue to resign at this point. Leave aside your captaincy, whatever technicalities there are, whatever you do on the field. But if you cannot own up to your mistakes, if you cannot take responsibility for your team, you cannot take responsibility for your decisions, and on top of that not come for the press conferences where important questions will be asked of you, I think that's your cue to resign. It's very selfish of Babar Azam to do this, to take the captaincy, to not take the credit for the loss, to take the credit for the win, but he's always first in line to take the credit for the win. So I think that's very, very selfish from Babar Azam. Last night we saw those visuals of Naseem Shah crying whilst he was going back to the dugout after the match had ended. So these are, you're ruining young players, passion and all of that. If maybe some kids are watching and they don't want to play for Pakistan anymore, so you're actually putting Pakistan cricket's future in danger. So which is incredibly sad as well. Babar Azam at this point should just go go away.
So Gargi is the decisive position. Babar
Yeah.
Azam should go. Plenty of people also are saying the same on Twitter, etc. Yesterday I had asked the same question. I'll go to Ishan, but Trisha's asked a question. If you're trying to make America cricket friendly, excuse me, should you not get a proper pitch? Absolutely, Trisha, you're spot on this one. You must get a proper pitch, that 119, and a proper outfield at that. That 119, however much you hit the ball was refusing to travel to the boundary. How many runs were stopped? The bowlers or the fielders from different parts, they could stop it, and the fielding side was a bad wicket. Well, yes, may not be up and down bounce as much as we had thought and not as dangerous, but the wicket was pretty bad. The Rizwan delivery kept a little low as well. Couple of deliveries, both innings did keep low, and the outfield was bad. There was no pace in it. People were not able to generate power in their shots. So you're absolutely right when you say you need a good pitch. Anybody who says 119 was a good enough one, sorry. I mean, it was the opposite of the IPL. Just like excessive batting friendly wickets are not good, this wasn't a good wicket either. So your point is well taken. Let me go to Ishan on that. Babar Azam, a yes or a no, Ishan?
Definitely no, Boryada. I think it's already evident. You're avoiding the press conferences. Your team's not performing well. You're not taking responsibility. So all these signs come to you So all these signs are directed to you in a way that obviously you're not taking enough responsibility as a captain. And in my opinion, I think he's facing a lot of backlash by the Pakistani media. Nothing's going right for him at the moment. So I don't think the PCB is going to stick with him as well. He should, I think, voluntarily step down as captain because he should understand that this is the situation, this is the gravity of the situation that we've reached, and there's not much you can do from here. This India game was the make or break, and unfortunately, when Pakistan were in the winning situation, the team failed, the team faltered. So it is time for him to possibly. Yeah, there's a question here. Yeah. So yes, coming back to the question, Borita, it is time for him to possibly step down. Yeah.
Devashish, before I go to you, sports fan, Babar should not have taken captaincy after Shaheen took over in the New Zealand series. He first needs to get his act together with the bat. Hardly seen him performing in important matches. Devashish, have you had a chat with any Pakistan media? Have you had a chat in the press conference room with them? What are they saying? What is the consensus among the Pak media?
Yeah, obviously they are unanimous in one thing. Obviously, that it's few of the decisions were questionable. Babar's decision, and see, as a captain, yeah, you might you may understand that obviously he did not turning up for the pre-match press conference. He would like to focus after what happened against the game in USA. But when you lose a big match against India, it is the captain's responsibility to face the barrage of questions from your country's journalists, and that has been. I for one would have seen Rohit Sharma walking into the post-match press conference had India lost the game, because it is the captain who takes the blows, and rather than the coach or the other support staff. And that has been the striking point for this Pakistani team, sending in Gary Kirsten, means someone who has been only with the team for 13 days. So you are making Gary Kirsten the scapegoat. Instead, the captains would have come forward and taken the questions and taken the barrage of questions from his country's journalists. So that has truly reflected on the team's performance. See, when the team does well, you always send in your best performer of the day. That has always been a given for top teams. But then when a team does not do well, it is the captain who should take on the responsibility.
Okay,
Yes, I but
let me ask the final question. But before that, again, Trisha has come up with another one and a good question again. Would you rest Jasprit Bumrah against the US and Canada as workload management? And that could be a good test for Dubey's utility with Hardik in good bowling form. Maybe rest Bumrah. Gargi, why don't you take that before I start with my final part?
Should we rest Jasprit Bumrah? I don't think so. Once you have momentum, I don't think you should rest anyone. And India looks in good momentum right now, and the team seems to be clicking very well. So I wouldn't rest anyone. That's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no resting Jasprit Bumrah is Gargi's choice. That's the answer she's giving. But is this the worst Pakistan team that we have seen in a long time? 21 was an aberration. Now clearly after that we've beaten Pakistan in 22, in 23, in 24. Clearly in this World Cup, Pakistan India is not happening again. So another Pakistan India bilateral is not happening in this particular year. So again, 3 consecutive years, 3 matches after that, 1 win in Dubai. Seeming that Pakistan-India one-sided contests are back. And question, 3 out of 14 times, Babar had batted at the top of the order. 11 on some 10 times, he was batting at number 3. So because it was a 120 total, did he come up for personal glory? Was he trying to play to the gallery and did he come up for personal glory? Devashish, then you go first. Is this the worst Pakistan you have seen in a long time? Losing to the US, not able to cross the line against India, 120. If you don't score 120 after 80 for 3 or 80 for 2 or whatever it is, 60 for 1, you don't deserve to play cricket at the highest level. You're not even as good as Shonali Shibir or Bhatri Shongo in Calcutta.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. This is definitely not one of the best teams. Means obviously Pakistan has always boasted of producing quality cricketers. Yes, when you talk about this bowling attack, they should be one of the best, along with other top teams. Means be Shaheen Shah Afridi, Nasim Shah, Haris Rauf. They have all done extremely well in this World Cup. But leaving aside that one-off match against USA, where the bowling went totally off, this particularly that super over from Mohammad Amir. But as Gary Kirsten rightly said in the press conference, he was questioned. He was the Pakistani coach was questioned. Was it the captaincy? Was it the team management decision? Was it the quality of the players? He said, see, if you have to take any positive from this World Cup, it has to be the bowlers. It is the bowlers who have performed for Pakistan. Let's be very honest. It is the batsman who has been letting us down time and time again, and that has been the case. And these are all experienced players. You talk about a Babar Azam, you talk about a Mohammad Rizwan, you talk about a Fakhar Zaman, you talk about a Imad Wasim. They are all experienced players. It is that their mindset. You need to take the onus on him. It's not that you cannot be spoon fed as to what you need to do in international cricket. It is your role to come out of these challenging situations, and herein lies the biggest challenge where they have failed miserably, and that has reflected in their performance so far. So to tell you lastly, Pakistan
Yeah.
has been a very poor side.
Ishan, worst Pakistan after 21. Clearly, the graph is going downhill.
Yes, it's looking bad, Murad. I think it is probably one of the worst Pakistani teams out there. But it'll be unfair to say this is the worst Pakistan team because that bowling lineup is so strong. So you can't possibly have the worst team and then also have probably one of the best bowling lineups in the world. So it's just that batting which has really let them down, like Devashish has mentioned. None of the batters are stepping up. I was in the stands yesterday. There were Pakistani fans saying that, we have the bowlers, but we don't have the batters whatsoever. None of these batters. So there was a discussion. I told a Pakistani fan who was at the stands with me. The team needed 36 or 4, and I told him that it's still Pakistan's game. Why are you getting worried? This is still Pakistan's game to win. And he told me that we don't have the batters. Imad Wasim can't do it for us, and that's the kind of belief the fans also have that the Pakistani batters can't win you games. They can't finish games off for you. They'll take you till the very end, and then after that they'll leave you stranded. So it's unfortunate for the Pakistani team, but it's again one of those things where this team again has to regroup because they have the talent. You have Babar Azam, who was probably a few years back, a lot of people are putting him out right up there with Virat Kohli. Then you had Mohammad Rizwan as well, who's performing extremely well in the last few years. So unfortunately, this team has not come together when it's needed the most, and that's why it's really costing them now.
The last couple of minutes on the show. One, I actually think this is one of the worst limp Pakistan teams I've seen. They did not show spine. And I always look for fearlessness in a team. I look for courage in a team. I look for resilience in a team. I look for a bit of a comeback in a team, and that wasn't there. So clearly, this Pakistan has a lot to think about, and I can't see light at the end of the tunnel. You've got to come out and take some radical calls, and the radical calls need to be taken now. Devashish Sen, Ishan Shahane will get us more on Amol Kale and the disappointing news, unfortunate news, very tragic news that we are getting this morning in America and afternoon in India about Amol, who watched the match yesterday with MCA officials and thereafter passed away because of a cardiac arrest. So Devashish and Ishan will be on that story. Shomik Chakraborty, our colleague, is already on that story. So we will get you more. We will get you a lot more from the US, from on ground, as to what's happening with India ahead of the India-US clash, because now that's a clash of table toppers. America has won 2, India has won 2. It's going to be an interesting clash. If I said this 7 days back, people would laugh at me, but now America has all of a sudden proved themselves. So that's going to be an important clash and an interesting one at that. I'll give Gargi the last word. Will we see a full house for India versus America? I'll be very keen on that. And New York Times, something that they'll report on, has reported that 119, 113 India has won. Clearly, they've extrapolated the scores from basketball and they don't get it. So that's another challenge that the ICC will have, that local journalists don't yet get it. The American journalists don't yet get it. So why would you let somebody like that to sort of report on a match as big as India-Pakistan? So I'll close it at that. But Gargi, you have the final word before we thank our guests.
Will there be a full house? I think yes. Wherever the Indian team goes, you always expect a full house. I don't think there are any questions about it. Of course, in the last match, I think it wasn't full house. Was it, Devashish? It wasn't, right?
I don't think it will be a full house. Means we saw it what happened against the game against Ireland. There were a
Yes.
lot of empty seats. And given the matches being starting at 10:30 a.m. on weekdays, matches starting at 10:30 a.m. On weekdays doesn't help. Means obviously people out here hardly means only it's only the player is fans who have come all across from other states will be watching. But I don't see a full house again. It's only the India Pakistan game that has created a lot of hype.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for this show. On that note, we'll end the show. Thank you, Ishan and Devashish, for joining. You'll be bringing us a lot more updates and colorful stories from the USA. We'll be waiting. And everyone who's watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rev Sports.